Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Wrestling Challenge review series. Been a while since we've had these. Get about 50 up. And there'll be about 15 or 16 more of these that I can put up over the next little while. Always like returning to childhood memories as it relates to these particular wrestling-related programs. Certainly, Wrestling Challenge, a big part of my childhood. We opened the January 6th, 1991 edition, hosted by Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. Gene Okerlund also conducts an interview with the Ultimate Warrior, featuring special report also highlighting the WWF Superstars of Wrestling Hulk Hogan appearance on the Brother Love Show. But we open with Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, defeating Tom Bennett and Bob Bradley, 242, when Bret pinned Bennett following a heart attack, and Hart and Neidhart cut insert promos about appearing in the Royal Rumble midpoint. Again, this is a few months before Wrestlemania 7. Of course, Wrestlemania 7, the Harts return to tag team glory for the first time in a few years as things are going on there. Bret Hart also had tried his hand at being a babyface there and managing to do that. Actually, the Harts are your tag team champions currently. I misspoken, having lost them at WrestleMania 7. A little bit backwards on my timeline there. But anyway, big power slams and basic things by Jim Neidhart, and Hart again. 2 3/4 minutes. A very short match. Neidhart with a hard shot to the midsection and the heart attack. Hogan basically promises to win the Royal Rumble, which he effectively does here in 1991. Back-to-back winner, the first of the back-to-back winners in Royal Rumble history. Back when the Royal Rumble really didn't have high stakes, it could stand on its own 2 feet as a standalone event once a year. Of course, this is the 91 would be the third in the Royal Rumble nature there. Randy Hunter, 238, with The Undertaker, Brother of Love, is his manager here. Again, Undertaker coming in just a few short months before, at the end of November, the Survivor Series. Brother Love doing his managerial duties till about April or so. Undertaker punch kick hits shots on the enhancement talent. The flying clothesline and the tombstone lead the Undertaker, and a gut wrench suplex, oddly enough. Or actually gut wrench up into a shoulder breaker more accurately. Picks him up like the suplex, but manages to go for something a little bit, I guess you'd say, simpler. Anyway, we move on to the next in the series of matches. The Ultimate Warrior hyped as the major deal here, as the World Championship will be on the line. Royal Rumble report, a pretty big deal. And a Saturday Night Royal Rumble is up next. We move to Jake Roberts in an enhancement talent match, as I grab my phone, and we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail here with more action. And again, Jake Roberts with the short clothesline, basic Jake Roberts stuff. Short clothesline DDT, super short deal for Jake. And I mean, that's what's great about the squash matches in the 80s. You kind of knew what was going to win, but the stars felt like stars. Now you have short squash matches, and the stars don't feel like stars because they haven't been built up to be stars. And you have squash matches between 2 supposedly established or semi-established talents that are ridiculous. Beating Pete Sanchez in 125 with a DDT, a pretty big deal, but at the same time, not exactly something that we really have to worry about. Anyhow, so we move forward into a local area promo for the following week, the 12th of January in Boston. Pretty big deal, at least partially, for the time frame, in the sense of Sean Mooney kind of trying to get everyone to care about the upcoming event center event, no pun intended, and kind of trying to bring people around. Also, getting ready for the Royal Rumble 91 in Mr. Perfect talking about Piper interfering in the Intercontinental title match with him and the Texas Tornado. Texas Tornado and Mr. Perfect feud still a big thing. Ted DiBiase also managing to talking about going at it with the Rhodes at the Royal Rumble, and that's their debut of the Nasty Boys with I think it's Samantha Fox, one of the women at the time, doing a Nasty Boys uh, song from a few years prior. I think it was Samantha Fox, but anyway, Boys, Boys, Nasty Boys is kind of the refrain of the song. Ryan Knobs, Jerry Sags in their Wrestling Challenge debut. Big back body drop on one half of the enhancement talents they're facing, which I believe ends up being W.T. Fields and let's see, W.T. Jones, I'm sorry, and Scotty Williams. 229, Sags pinned Williams after the running power slam, flying elbow smash combination. Nasty Boys again starting in January here, and they're champions by April, so they're pushed really hard when you consider the nature of what the plan was and bringing them in that way. Ultimate Warrior promises to defeat Sergeant Slaughter, talks about the axis. I don't think he said axis of evil, but the embodiment of evil from Sergeant Slaughter and the connection with Saddam Hussein, kind of hinting at a future program with Randy Savage. I love how things mattered back then enough that you could see where they were going one pay-per-view ahead, right? Obviously, WrestleMania was a big thing, and at the end of WrestleMania, you could kind of imagine where they might go for SummerSlam. You can't even imagine where they're going to be next week now, and it's quite sad. Sergeant Slaughter, speaking of which, wearing the hijab and managing to kind of get a kind of a run around there. Slaughter with General Adnan defeating Raymond Hammer via submission, Cobra Clutch 126. Again, Slaughter kind of gut wrench, gut buster, and the punches and kicks in the Cobra Clutch, managing to get the victory there, and ultimately getting into a victorious situation relatively quickly. Slaughter, of course, weeks away from being champion there. Hulk Hogan and Tugboat going to face Earthquake and Dino Bravo at the upcoming Boston area house show. Hogan actually talks about him and Tugboat being the team of the 90s. They're not even a tag team going into 1992, so oddly enough. And there was actually some suspicion that they would move towards being, a major. The Tugboat originally was going to challenge at WrestleMania 7. That was a thought, but it never materialized, obviously. We go to the Royal Rumble report. Ted DiBiase talks about basically being on a ranch and wears a mock cowboy hat. Says the money is more important than anything, and that his money is, he basically smells the roads. And so finally, Ted DiBiase has Virgil wipe off his shoe, also hype for the Royal Rumble. The guys like Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, and others. The Earthquake promises to get rid of everybody. Earthquake, I think 91 is the year that he is of the last two in the ring. Of course, Hulk Hogan winning the 91 Royal Rumble, or 91 rather. Hulk Hogan, of course, winning the 90 and 91 Royal Rumble back-to-back years. Rick Martel, there's talk of him getting in there with Jake Roberts, having blinded Roberts a few weeks before on the Brother Love show, and they're kind of continuing in that general vein. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, your Intercontinental Champion, of course, having beaten Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, in the weeks and months to come. I still look back at this stuff, and good gosh, wrestling is so much better during this time period than anything they put out now, just because the characters are memorable. Anyway, Danny Brazile against Mr. Perfect, and Perfect hits a drop kick and the Perfect Flex, the inverted neck snap, not in that order, but getting a victory there, and that will close us out. I think there's one more hype portion for the upcoming, Boston Garden show. Power and Glory promises that they're going to beat the Hart Foundation for the Tag Team Championships at the upcoming house show loop, which is super, super valuable. And then we will close right here. We'll be back with more right after this.